Hi, it is the Human Operating System time. This channel is for educations and technology only. Today is the first day of year 2020, and I'm going to share with you a really critical topic. This is a very important topic. If we do not know about this, it is guaranteed disaster. So what I'm going to share with you today is about presupposition, meaning that assumption we make and we take it as truth. We never examine about it. This inspirations of sharing with you this today is come from yesterday. I am discussing with a friend who is a medical doctor who teach in the university as a professor, and he told me that in some very famous university there are a group of researchers doing research on mindful meditations, and claim that mindful meditation their practice, which is from some Buddhist high monks, be able to do many things. They claim that. So I asked this friend, said, since you know I just released my book, the Wing Chun Inceptions, and within the Wing Chun Inceptions I map all this meditation, Qigong and all this thing into the heart rate and heart rate variability. You are a medical doctor, you know that heart rate and heart rate variability is a biomarker which is using in hospital to check whether people is doing well or not, you know. Those are scientific stuff. So this meditations, the result, you tell me, does it have any records of the biomarker like the heart rate variability and heart rate? And he told me there is no such thing. It's only there's many people who do testimonial on the result they get from this meditation practice. And I said I don't buy into those. I have seen and I have met many real deal monk, Buddhist monk, and I still don't buy into testimonial. I want to see biomarker, your heart rate profile and your heart rate variability. Okay? So I just don't buy those things which is like because it is from such and such Buddhist monk, then it is the truth. Then it's going to work. Those are presuppositions. You assume something there. Same thing within martial arts, traditional Chinese martial art. More and more in this day is, if this is the teaching of this grandmaster, this lineage, this style, then people take it as truth. It is a problem now. And quite a coincidence, yesterday I have also met certain thing in Wing Chun discussions. And so I decide to show you. Watch out. So people who practice Qi Sao in Wing Chun, they usually believe that Qi Sao they practice is good for fighting. You can hear people say Wing Chun is designed for street, not for the MMA match. Okay? And thus they do the Qi Sao, can do it for the street fighting and so forth, so forth. And it often boils down to this three statements. Okay? This is general belief. General people believe and they think this is the truth, and this is how Wing Chun is practiced, the Qi Sao, this is how Wing Chun is practiced. And actually this is very common in not only with Wing Chun, in traditional Chinese martial arts. The first is this: when the momentum comes into my body, I am still able to shift my center of balance. So that's the first type of the statement. You know, when people practice Qi Sao or push hand or those kind of stuff, the thinking is, when the momentum comes into my body, I am still able to shift my center of balance. Okay? Sound familiar? The second is, structure and center of balance works hand in hand. So you need to have a structure to keep your center of balance, and if you keep your center of balance, then you have the structure, so forth. Sound familiar? The third is, I will redirect the force and momentum to maintain my structure and center of balance. I will redirect the force and momentum which is come to me to maintain my structure and center of balance. These three things, doesn't it sound familiar? In general, Qi Sao, Wing Chun Qi Sao practice, and people believe in this because it is teaching a court to some grandmaster or some lineage and so forth, so forth. And everybody doing the same, and it's internal and it's a internal art and so forth, because you have the structure, you have the center of balance, right? So this is how today people thought Wing Chun is, or other traditional Chinese martial art is about. These three statements, right? Well, let's look into what is exactly in ancient traditional Chinese martial art present or teach. Okay? So let's look into the general Qi Guang 450 years ago. Okay, and it is in the Wing Chun Matrix books. I have presented there. The reason I present all this thing is because in this channel, only if it is black and white evidence in the ancient and it's scientific, we talk about it. It's not about, it's my belief, my grandmaster says so, my blah blah blah. No, okay? Now, in this Qi Guang teaching, okay? So the first thing here in Chinese is said in the writing of the Qi Guang, okay? This is not Hendrik's saying, okay? Which is in this book. The first is said that there's a concept of 树雷不济焉耳. 树雷不济焉耳 means the strike will come in like the thunder, so fast that one not be able to close one's ears. The strike is as fast as the thunder, the speed of the thunder, that one not be able to close one's ear. That's the first key teaching of general Qi Guang. If you read that thing, okay, in Chinese, and if you read it here. The second teaching is 世事相承，变化无穷，人不得而归. This means momentum transform to another momentum. Okay, one momentum evolve into the other momentum in fighting. 变化无穷 means thing is changing, unbound, unlimited. Or there's no pattern of the change. It just change from one momentum, change to another momentum. It is unbound. While using the Bruce Lee word, it is, my friend, flow like water. Okay, the momentum had to go like that. 人不得而归, meaning that your opponent not be able to predict that change of the momentum. So momentum evolve into momentum. It's boundless. It can be in the changing within that 4 momentum zone. It can be a long fist and suddenly turn into the ground fight, or from the ground fight turn into the short strike, and then within that there's changing, there's unbounded, okay? And then one not be able to predict the next step of that momentum change. That is the second teaching in the General Qi Ji Guang's writing. Okay? So this 2 writing is the descriptions of General Qi Ji Guang, that it has to be speed like hell. It fast like the thunder that one won't be able to close one's ears. The second is, it is momentum. One momentum change to another one, another momentum is boundless. It's not like it has a way to do those things, and so that the opponent not be able to predict what will come next. So 400 years ago, 450 years ago, that's the teaching of Qi Ji Guang. Talk about the momentum and the speed. Okay, that's the bottom line, the soul of fighting. Now, more than 1,000 years ago, Sun Tzu, you know, the art of war, Sun Tzu, he defined momentum. Because here he said, well, you know, General Qi Ji Guang said momentum, and Sun Tzu defined what is momentum. Well, Chinese is a race. The Chinese is a race, or the Chinese culture is core in the play of momentum. How to generate momentum, how to make use of momentum. That is the culture, the uniqueness of the Chinese race and the Chinese culture. Okay, that's why I keep talking momentum here. Now, in the art of war, the Sun Tzu is said that 认识者meaning the guy who made use of momentum. 如转木石 is like playing with locks, the wooden locks and stone. 方知止 if it is square, it will sit there, not moving, sit there, stop there. 言之行 if it's round, then it will move. So another word is mean that those who play with momentum, it is like playing with locks, the wood locks and the stone. If the wood lock or stone is square, then it will stop. If it is round, then it will go moving. So what does that mean in today's language? It means if it is balanced, then it will stay and not moving. If it is imbalanced, then it will roll. It will move. Okay? So if one want to play with momentum, transform to another momentum, one better have an unstable state. Like the stone, which is unstable, you put on the top of the mountain, it roll down. Or the wood logs, you put on the hill, it rolls down. That's what he said here. They define here. That's Chinese, real Chinese. Okay. Now, when you get into 1700, writing the Shaolin short strike canon, the classic. Okay, so this is in here too. I purposely put it there. The Shaolin short strike classic saying that if you want to fight in short strike, you have to get your shoulder in first. Not standing there, okay? Shoulder shoot in. The entire body go in. What? That is using of imbalanced state. Not balance, imbalance. Okay, now you know this from 1,500 years or so ago in Chinese culture, history, for fighting, for military. 450 years ago, and the Shaolin short strike about 200 something, 1700, 300 years ago, you can see 1,500 years ago, it said that you want to make use of what? Instability to generate that momentum. Because momentum is what? Mass multiplied by velocity. So if this is a round stone you put on the hill, it roll down. Mass multiplied by velocity. If you put a square rock there, it's not going to go down because it's in a stable state. And 450 years ago, General Qi Guang said, you want to play with this momentum, this instability. So instability become the next instability, and it keeping changing while nobody can predict what happened next because it's so unstable. Okay? And he said that the attack of this instability will be like what? Like the thunder, where one not be able to close one's ear. That's how you play with the momentum or the imposed momentum. That's the teaching of the Chinese. Okay? That is traditional Chinese martial arts teaching, the soul, the guts of it. Now, look into this. Okay? The first is said, when the momentum comes into my body, I am still able to shift my center of balance. Sorry, you're violating number one. Number one meaning the strike will come to you, or you're going to strike like the thunder so fast that not be able to close the ear. How the world is that when the momentum come into my body, I am still able to shift my center of balance? How is that? At that speed of the thunder, so fast that we won't be able to close our ear, do we have time to, when the momentum comes, I'll be able to shift my center of balance? When you talk about center of balance, sorry. 1,500 years ago, they tell you it is about instability, not about keep a center of balance. Because if you keep a center of balance, you will stay there stuck. Sun Tzu said already, if it is square, you remain there. You cannot move. Okay? The second, structure and center of balance works hand in hand. What? Structure and center of balance work hand in hand. You violate this thing. 1,500 years ago, people already said, if you have square, you have balance, you are sitting down there dead. You won't move. Now, we talk about structure and balance. The Chinese didn't say that, right? The Chinese all this way is saying that you want to make use of imbalance. No structure, no balance, no center of balance. The third one, I will redirect the force and momentum to maintain my structure and center of balance. Over here, Qi Ji Guang said, momentum convert to another momentum, or instability evolve into the other instability, and the change is unlimitless, is unlimited. Other people will not be able to predict that. When we get into, I will redirect the force and momentum to maintain my structure and center of balance, you know what happened? Meaning that one is predicted by the opponent, because you want to keep your structure and balance. The name of the game of the 1,500 years until the 1700 of the Shaolin short strike is, I don't want to keep something that you know what I'm going to guard against. Okay? I don't want to maintain a structure, I don't want to maintain center of balance. That's the name of the game. Because I do not maintain a structure or center of balance, you cannot predict what I'm going to do next. And also, I am keeping using of my imbalance to transform to another momentum. So, let's look into today's MMA or Western boxing match. Does all the performance in the Western boxing or the MMA competition accord to this or accord to this? This is very simple. In Western boxing, we have the falling step, right? Falling step strike, right? Is that to keep a structure, keep a center of balance, or you fall? You use the falling step to generate the power to shoot. Didn't it accord to this thing? If we go to watch in the YouTube, the Kyokushin wheel kick, isn't it is this? Isn't it is this? It is instability. It is the wheel kick come in a in the way that one will not be able to predict. And there's many things there, okay? When the shoot in come, the takedown shoot in come, the taking down, isn't it come very fast? So now you got a problem now. People in here in Wing Chun or in all this martial art, keeping practice this, I have to have a structure, I have to keep my balance, I have to stand there, and then I have to apply my hand techniques to redirect force, to redirect momentum. Are you sure? Do you know what is momentum? How to redirect momentum? and then all this thing. So now you got a problem there. Somehow people assume this entire thing is traditional Chinese martial arts, while in record is this. And this actually fit into today's MMA, Western boxing, Kyokushin, Thai boxing. It describes what is there. Over here, heaven knows what the heck happened. Well, but people believe in this, right? When I practice Chi Sao, I have to be structured, balanced, and then when his force comes, I'm going to redirect the force and strike him. And then I'm going to shift my center of balance. Think that is the practice? Well, how is this practice going to handle this thing? When the opponent is having these three as the core, and one practice this way in their Chi Sao or push hand or whatever. Now, not to mention the Shaolin sword strike. The shoulder go in with the entire body. It is unstable. Because it's unstable, the momentum is so big that it lean into the guy. Look at the Jiu-Jitsu or BJJ guy, it lean into you. Well, like what the saying is, all fight going down to the ground. Why? Which is more difficult to sustain, to be balanced, or to not sustain, to use the imbalance and less going down to the ground. So if I want to hold on this thing and say, well, I want to hold on this, no matter how you attack me, I want to hold on this, so that I'm going to move this away and then beat you at the same time, is more difficult. Or I don't care what it is, I just want to drop the entire thing. The norm of the world is unstable. When we try to keep something stable, like this thing, always to maintain my structure and my center of balance, that is trouble. Where General Chi Guang over here, Sun Tzu saying that we play with instability, we love instability, we want to be unstable because I'm unstable. You will not be able to predict me. Because it's unstable, I can make use of it, make use of that momentum. Thus, I'm not holding on certain thing, and you don't know where I'm coming from because I'm unstable. I go a different way. Well, if you are stable, you always want to be stable. You always want to keep your balance, your structure. Well, good luck. You just show the opponent the target. You are predictable, according to this ancient teaching. Okay, so if we don't look into the ancient, we take the assumption, the assumption, this is Wing Chun, this is traditional Chinese martial art, this is internal art. And do not look into this. Go beyond this and look into this. Look into the assumption. Then it is disaster. And today we already walk into that disaster. You do Chi Sao like a push hand. And you say, well, my body structure always have to be stable. I have always be this way, that way, that way. And you look at people who do push hand and say, well, the body has to be centered, and then always have to be centered so I can take the force in, you know, and I can fudging. Is that real? If it's real, why don't you just go check the records of the Chinese martial artists in past 100 years fighting the Thai boxer in Bangkok. See what happened. Is this type of stuff work? So, if we believe on certain thing, if we take like I said that the friend told me that, oh, because they do this mindful meditations, and the mindful meditation is taught by a monk, then it's a deep source, because we believe that, we think that's true. However, is that what the Buddha teach? Not necessary. It's like this. Is that the Chinese? No, this is not Chinese at all. This is some kind of thing which is not even Chinese. So then you ask me, you know, so what how come we get into this structure stuff, this center of balance stuff? Well, you know what happened? We know already today. 1,500 years ago, 450 years ago, 250 years ago in Shaolin, short strike, is dealing with imbalance. This short strike stuff, this structure and this balancing stuff, taking force or those stuff come. You know when this comes start? If you look in the history, you track the Wing Chun evolution, it happened start 1950, 1960s, when somebody took the the propaganda of Tai Chi, push hand, put it into Wing Chun, put it into the Chi Sao. Start with have a structure, start with have the center of balance. That's where it come from. Is it Wing Chun at all? According to ancient, it is not even Chinese. It is something else. Okay? So not saying that what Hendrik said it is not Wing Chun, you know, then you start another lineage politic war. No. It's got nothing to do with me. I just tell you that I pointed out that the ancient didn't say it that way. And now you get this. And where it come from, those kind of theory, where it's come from, it is come from the propaganda of Tai Chi since the early 1900s. So, as what I mentioned in the beginning of this video, if we take the presuppositions, do not examine what it is disaster. Anybody who practices this will not be able to fight with these people. No way. So when people, like there are many people, you know, I know that we love Wing Chun, and when Xi Xiaodong said something, and then we say, well, no, Xi Xiaodong, you're wrong, blah, blah, blah. Well, look into this. What is the reality? Well, what is the reality? It is not Xi Xiaodong's problem. It is us who take the assumption and thinking that is what it is. And in fact, it turns out that it is not what it is. And then when right now, I show you already, right? 1,500 years ago, 450 years ago, and over here in the Shaolin, in the Shaolin short strike canon, late 1700, 300 years ago, 200 something, 250 years ago. Look at for the thousands of years. Compare with this invented design created after 1950s. So are we doing traditional Chinese martial art, or are we doing something else? So this is to share with you today. This is 2020. We need to look into what is going on. We need to be scientific. Otherwise, it is a disaster. Because we were going to invest our time and our life into something which is not even what it is. Just somebody as good as you and me invented, created that thing. And we trust it, we believe it, and we take that as the truth. Not knowing that even the guy who designed it, invented it, have no clue of what is the Chinese culture is about. The Chinese culture, in a short way, as a conclusions of this video, I'd like to share with you is, based on this, the Chinese is very good in using the instability. That is the bottom line. It is not about structure, it's not about center of gravity or center of balance. The Chinese love instability. The Chinese make use of instability. That is the name of the game of playing with momentum. From Sun Tzu, he said that it is like those who play with momentum is like playing with rocks and the wood logs, stone or wood logs. Qi Ji Guang said it is playing with the momentum or the instability so that people have no idea what I'm going to do next. And it has to be the speed of lightning. It never is keep a structure, keep a balance. Say for example, people like to, you face somebody who want to take you down, shoot into you and take you down. Are you going to think this way? I'm going to maintain my structure, maintain my my balance, and when the momentum come into my body, I'm still able to shift my center of balance. How many times in YouTube videos you see the competition between Wing Chuners and the MMA player, BJJ and so forth, in times of shoot in, take down? How many times the Wing Chuner collapse? Just look at it. So is that possible? When the momentum come into my body, I'm still able to shift my center of balance. I will redirect the force and momentum to maintain my structure and center of balance. Is that possible? Ideally, it sounds very good, but in the real life, is it possible? And not to mention, once people do this, one is get locked into a defensive mode. They know what you try to protect, and then you, in one way, you try to protect a certain thing. In another way, you want to attack him. While the opponent is just have to do one thing. I'm going to get unstable and get you down to the ground. So who's more effective? Who's more fast? Who's more Chinese? So this is to share with you today.